Hey guys, I'm Hemant Parwa. Welcome you to the Planet and Houses. This is my first video on astrology. It has always been an unsolved puzzle to me, full of confusions. I started learning astrology 3 years ago with the help of some books. And after going through my learning, I felt an urge to have a guru who could answer all my questions related to this wonderful conceptual science. I'm using the term science. Yes, to me, astrology is a science. As astrology took thousands of years of researches and it has a mathematical and astronomical base of calculations. It's not like you just close your eyes and predict something and whatever you say happens. No guess game at all. It is just a method sneak inside a life course and help us in improving certain aspects of life. Maybe in this video you will find that I might be going off track. But I really want to talk about a few points which I feel are more than important to specify. As the term astrology itself depicts its essence, it simply is a combination of two words, astro and logi. Logics behind astronomy. And in Hindi, it is called Jyotish. The word Jyotish comes from the Sanskrit language. Jyoti means light and Ish means Ishwar, and it simply means the light of God, or in other words, the study of light. Friends, though Jyotish uses the planets in its calculation, but it does not mean that the planets rules or governs us. They are just used as a metaphor, a device in this science. And we should not take it too literally. But unfortunately, many traditional astrologers do the same. Jyotish basically refers to the science of our existence in this bodily, stellar and fundamental physical state, and our relationship with nature, or as people refer to God. Our existence out there is macrocosmic, where within the body it is microcosmic. My peculiar definition states that the Jyotish is the study of that microcosmic level of existence. Vedic astrology is majorly studied around human life, how planets affect a person's life. It really sounds weird when we think about planets having a certain influence on our lives. It seems unbelievable that during the birth time of a child, the planetary positions in the sky decides how a child's life is going to be. And this was something which really made me interested to learn this mystical science. Although it was full of confusions like where to start, what to learn and how to learn, etc. As there are different thoughts around the same thing. Every book talks the same thing very differently. And learning such a science really takes a lot of time when you have such challenges. Therefore, I decided to refer multiple books, YouTube videos, articles, blogs and almost everything related to astrology. Following these mediums, I gradually started making my own understanding of astrology. Later on, to gain deeper knowledge, I enrolled myself in a full-time astrology course from the Indian Council of Astrological Science and started learning things in a proficient manner. In this video, I am going to talk about astrology and all the beliefs and disbeliefs towards this sacred science. Astrology has always been a victim and taken as an impractical subject by the majority of people. People think it is nothing but a method for making fool out of innocent people. But most of them, when they are cursing astrology, are not talking about it. They are basically referring to the things like Jadu Tona, Tantra Mantra, Vashikaran and other things which have been associated with astrology. Along with these, many other things through which people claim to predict the future are not associated with astrology in any sense. Astrology, on the other hand, is all about learning and studying planets, nakshatras and zodiac signs. An astrologer creates a horoscope to predict something. A horoscope is nothing but a snapshot of planetary position at the time a person is born. An astrologer must have deep understanding about all the concepts, which takes years of learning and understanding. There are many forms of astrology like Prashri astrology. Prashri astrology is also known as Vedic astrology and Hindu astrology. And the other famous forms of astrology are Tajik, Mundane, Western and Nadi. It depends on you which system you want to follow. But Vedic astrology is the best system to read and predict, and it is well renowned all around the world. Even people from the Western countries are more inclined towards the Vedic astrology. In astrology, planets plays the biggest role, and planets always been a mystery for human beings. And a lots of researches has been done, but still the mystery is unsolved. Though we are now equipped with the super technologies and have explored the sky, but all the researches were done keeping some other aspects in the mind, but not the astrology. Astrology has never been a focus for the modern age science. Instead, it was a core focus area for the saints thousands years ago for the betterment of human life. Their deep observations toward the sky have revealed a lots of useful information which they have recorded in the Vedas. But unfortunately, the existence of those scripts and those saints has always been questioned. As with the time passing by, those sacred scripts were scattered. Whatever could be saved and is present today is the foundation of modern astrology, and later on each piece is fixed at its position. The sky has always been studied by curious mind to find out various facts. The best example is Aryabhat, born in years 476, who had discovered a lots of things related to the sky. Solar and lunar eclipses were scientifically explained by Aryabhat, and he correctly insisted that the earth rotates about its axis daily. And it was India who discovered thousands years ago that there is a tilt of 23.5 degree in the earth axis. And it was explored by Indian astronomers around 3000 years ago. It is globally accepted fact in today's world. It certainly makes a strong base of astrology and prove that. It is not the modern age science to give a merit to the sacred astrology, as more than half of astrology is based on the calculations of stars and planets. Even NASA and ISRO use the same basic fundamentals to calculate coordinates and planets' position. They have just enhanced these calculations in much easier way, but the origin is of course not the modern age science. Modern age science and people have no doubt about the existence of planets, their movements, size and distances. But what always been a controversy is their influence on humans. Do planets really affect us? Are we really doing what planets have decided for us? If yes, how it can be proved? Though this has been accepted that each planet has its own energy, but does that energy affect us or not has always been questionable. In fact, everything we see around has its own energy, but does that energy impact us in any way? Here is where the real controversy starts. Actually, we as a human really believes what we see and experience. And it sounds quite logical. But we humans have certain limitations which are true as well. We cannot see everything around us like ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, radio signals and X-rays, and so many other types of energy, as our body is not equipped with an infrared camera, neither with a radar system. For example, if I talk about the ultraviolet rays, we cannot see them. Like the cellular structure at the back of retina, the photoreceptor reacts only to the certain wavelength of light. These cells, called cone, absorb the incoming photons and then emit the electrical signals to the brain, which interprets the signal, resulting in all of the colors and images we see. This was a scientific theory which proves that even if we experience or see thing or not, their existence is there. Let me give you one more example. When it is full moon, the sea and ocean experience heavy tides, and people who have any sort of mental disorder are more disturbed during that period. Most of the time we do not know and care about how such things impact us. Sometimes we are not even aware of the fact that a moon eclipse is happening outside. We keep enjoying our lives and we are happy. But whomsoever at that period of time is receiving the energy of moon certainly feels the difference in their mental state. The influence of moon and sun can be felt and experienced, as all the plants get their nourishment from the moon and sun. We cannot survive without having the sun blessing. We need these planets to live. Moreover, rather than the energy of planets, their position affects our lives. And this is what astrology is all about, which was deeply studied by all sages. As I told earlier, their core focus was a connection of planets and nakshatra and their effects on human life. They were curious enough to understand the origin of life, what makes one person different from another. So they created a system and calculated things in a way that could lay out those significance for each individual. And that's why they divided the life into 12 houses, as a person's life is not beyond the karmas or acts of these 12 houses. How a person's karmas or acts will be in his course of life are truly affected by planetary energy. This energy is nothing but their placement in nakshatra and sign when a person was born. So they created different terms and concepts like aspects, conjunctions, exaltation and debilitation, etc., by which an astrologer who has learned to read these concepts can decode a person's life to some extent. If an astrologer could predict a person's life to 80%, it is excellent. And even if he is able to make it up to 70%, it is commendable. Friends, decoding life is not easy. No one could ever find out the origin of life. If we observe ourselves closely, we are a masterpiece. Everything in us is so well designed. Our eyes, heart, lungs, skin, whatever you name is perfect piece of excellence. Moreover, we are blessed with many emotions. Our body is equipped with different types of sensors, and we have many different types of senses as well. All these are not made themselves. These were certainly coded by someone. But who is that someone? We never know. We say God has made us, but which God? We have thousands of gods. Every religion has its own belief and claims, which are majorly influenced by human only. But still, there is certainly some energy who has programmed our mind and souls, who created a unique seed for life, which is encapsulated with all the traits of human behavior. A tiny human sperm is the key code which produces another life. But who wrote that complex code? This question cannot be answered. If sometimes I think about my eye, I feel it's perfect. It has autofocus lens connected with the storage system of my mind to see and store all the glimpses of whatever I see around. Humans are wonderful creatures, and all living beings on this planet are created by that mighty power. And you are free to give it any name. Only the realization is essential that there is certainly someone behind the scene who is controlling everything. Understanding astrology concepts needs patience and years of practice. And one needs to know about all the core concepts of astrology. Planets, nakshatra and zodiac signs are like the hands of huge clock, and houses are like its dial. Now you need to learn how to read time. We go through the time correction to calculate an ascendant and decide that what sign was rising in the eastern horizon at the time of a birth of a person. Then calculate the exact position of planets, nakshatra, and also calculate mahadasha and antardasha. And we also create many charts for a detailed study. Each chart is very important. May it be Lagna chart, Moon chart, Sun chart, Chalit Kundali or divisional charts like D1, D2, D3, D9, etc. There are total 16 types of main divisional charts and 4 types of other charts like D5, D6, D8 and D11. I will explain how to calculate each of these and how to read each of these charts. An astrologer is not a magician and never had or will have power to change your destiny. And who claims it certainly is not an astrologer, and it is simply a disgrace to astrology. The commercialization of astrology has put the real spirit of astrology on stake. We visit an astrologer with our problems, believing that he must have a solution for them. In fact, an astrologer can only tell the reason of those problems and suggest some gemstones, mantras and puja part. Even if these things work, very few people know and suggest the appropriate medium. If you are really into trouble and want the solution, just look within. The solution is somewhere hidden inside you. Or careless behavior and shenanigans of our past and present causes the problem. And astrology can simply tell you an approx time when any good or bad event in your life will take place. It could be your marriage, promotion, first job, divorce, education, health, family happiness, family issue, court cases, or anything related to you. And for that, an astrologer must have in-depth knowledge of significance of each house, planets, transits, nakshatra and their padas, divisional charts, chalit kundali, planets and their conjunctions, and many other things. Astrology is a learning skill just like any other skill, and it can be learned if you have interest, patience and time. I am going to make detailed videos on all these concepts and will explain how things works in astrology. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel for new video updates. Thank you, bye bye and see you soon.